Hello, and first of all, welcome to our broadcast. Today, we will talk about the impact of COVID on our industry, on the payments industry. We have three important colleagues from the industry, Mr. Hakan and Recep and myself. We will be addressing you. To introduce myself briefly, and then I will give the floor to our other speakers. First of all, my name is Hasan Japparov. I am one of the founding partners of Paymess. Paymess is about social commerce, facilitating it for individuals and institutions and simplified without having to use any additional technologies, receiving payments and being able to sell products or promote your services. It's such an intermediary platform. We are one of the frontiers of social commerce. In Turkey and overseas, we have activities, and soon we will have a global opening as well, and I will talk about it in detail later. With that, I give the floor to Mr. Hakan. He will talk about himself and his company. Thank you very much, first of all. On this occasion, I would like to start by congratulating everybody's new year. I hope this will be the year where COVID leaves our lives finally. COVID has given us more speed, as we will discuss in more detail later, but it has tired all of us and it has actually impacted our psychology. So I wish everyone a COVID-free new year and great year in terms of our health and our business. My name is Hakan Kocatürk at Paynet, Payment Services. I deal with business partnerships and products as the Deputy General Manager. In line with the relevant law, we play an intermediate role in payment. Close to 5 years ago, it was very hard for us to talk about payment services, but today it's such a default that it's very easy to talk about it. The service that we offer is usually to our member businesses, and what we say is, except for cash, every kind of payment instrument can be used on a single platform, Paynet. It is mainly credit cards, as we will talk about later, but loans, alternative ways of payment, digital wallets. So different payment instruments are gaining speed. Users are transitioning to these, and Paynet allows you to use those on a single platform. And with that, I leave the floor to Mr. Recep Erdoğan. Hello. My name is Recep Erdoğan. Maybe you know me with my previous hat of Payful Payment Solutions. Maybe that's how the ecosystem knows me. Today I'll announce something. Payful, which was my initiative, was acquired by Ozan Electronic Money last month. So currently I'm here talking with my Ozan hat. So on the Ozan side, what do we do? As Mr. Hakan also said, we are also an electronic money institution under the same law. Ozan is a virtual POS, physical POS device company, but we also position ourselves as a technology company. And with that, in addition to POS, value-added products, we offer solutions, various solutions to businesses, as I will detail more in following rounds. Thank you very much to both of you. Very quickly, there are some questions coming to us. COVID has, I'm asking to Mr. Hakan, how has COVID affected our shopping experiences? Did it guide us to different directions? And in this regard, as payment solutions, which changes have occurred, for instance, under the challenging conditions? There is nothing that the pandemic did not affect, very clear. I like having analogies. In lean training, they say you need three things for a fire: an inflammable material, a source of heat, and oxygen or air. So when these three are present, certain things are possible. But COVID has accelerated digitalization for all of us. COVID has really affected all of our lives, our personal lives, our businesses, our socialization. But there was some speed towards digitalization. Recep or yourself or all stakeholders in the industry, we were making preparations for digitalization. But when it comes to this fire, COVID was the source of oxygen, which gave speed to the whole process. It accelerated the process. It affected all of us very seriously. And I look at this from two perspectives. First, on the perspective of the customer. So yes, we were home, we were going out to shop whenever you want, but I think it was 11th of March. And on 12th of March, we first occupied all supermarkets to draw stocks to home. But then things started turning online. E-commerce experience in every way for market shopping, food shopping, and for your clothing or for your other routine shopping. On the reverse side of things, for businesses, this has had a similar effect as well, an accelerating effect. In the past, there were people who questioned whether they should sell online or not, but now they're all in the e-commerce market. The first experience was very important. If we had negative experiences in the first one, we would be discussing other things. I have had COVID myself. I was at home for 14 days. Normally, your family asks you, do you need anything? But for 14 days, without having contact with anyone, I tried to maintain my life. The experience for Hakan as an individual and for sellers, this was a great opportunity. COVID has created a pushing force for digitalization. Of course, shopping is not only about shopping, it's also about socialization, and there will be a feedback of this. Once COVID leaves our lives, there will be what they call revenge shopping. This time, I believe there will be an increase in physical shopping as well after COVID. So how do things go for us? The figures are increasing very seriously. Inside the fintech ecosystem, including some regulations, the whole infrastructure was ready, and COVID accelerated the process. And we can see very clearly that in all of our channels, on our platforms, there has been at least 100% growth in payments. In the second leg, which increased the fastest, we see that contactless or remote payments and mobility have increased almost by 200% in the first 2 years in comparing 2021 to 2019. I'm comparing the most recent COVID period to before the pre-pandemic period. So there has been more than 100% growth. There is a 5.5-fold growth on our side in terms of numbers of transactions and turnover. On my side, the transactions are not only becoming mobile, but the cart averages have turned mobile as well. At first, contactless was used for convenience in small shopping, but today, even in large transactions, there is a clear trend towards contactless or mobile payment. This is a process for all of us. COVID has many factors. Of course, we talk about the positive, but we see the negative as well. When we go out to the street, for instance, we sometimes shop from small shops which had to close during the pandemic because they couldn't digitalize, or because of competition, or maybe they couldn't manage their sales, or about their ways of doing business was not in line. So we have seen the negative aspect of COVID as well. Mr. Recep Erdoğan, on your side, you have joined the umbrella of a new company, and before that, as Payful, you had experience, and could you talk about this experience and this change? My overall comment is this: even if we came together as the whole industry, and even if we spent billions of dollars, we wouldn't be able to reach this momentum. The momentum was created by the pandemic. It was a very rapid growth momentum, and as Mr. Hakan said, especially businesses which did not enter this industry, they have started showing interest as well. Not only businesses, but also the end users. I know from my family around me, people who said, I will never shop online. I will never share my card number on the internet. But those people are today using the well-known apps in order to order goods to their homes. So even if the whole industry came together and worked for many years, we wouldn't be able to have such momentum. On the payful side, we're usually B2B oriented. When you compare B2B to B2C, B2B is a bit slower compared to B2C because the awakening on the B2B has come a bit later. There is still progress to be made, especially businesses in terms of their dealer payments. There is growth on that side as well. And on our side, there is close to 100% growth as well, and especially new industries have opened up as well. For instance, our target group, people who weren't in our target group so far, have been included because of the conditions of the pandemic. To give an example, hospitals. In the past, on the hospital side, usually payment was done through physical means. The patient would go to the doctor and use a physical post device. But during the pandemic, they had to meet through video call, and the technologies that we provided have been needed by some hospitals to which we have provided services, and this has opened new doors in the industry. And when you look at the data of the BKM, the Interbank Card Center, we see the positive growth. I would like to talk about our experience on our side as well. Among our customers, we have, for instance, a machinery producer in Manisa, or a housewife who produces certain handmade goods at home. So with COVID, we have had new customer segments. For instance, in the past, white collars were not very present in this area, but in addition to that, together with the pandemic, they have, as an additional means of income or to use their time for more income, they have started offering various services in the digital environment. So this is services of exchange of information, offering their own services for a certain fee. We have seen an increase in this area. In Turkey and Azerbaijan, in the MENA region, we have offered solutions depending on the needs of that specific country. For instance, individuals have made a certain leap here, but in Azerbaijan, it has usually been SMEs who were a bit faster because of their dynamics or their regulations being more different. Digitization was coming a bit late, but in certain countries, the impetus was much more compulsory, especially in developing markets, the Caucasian countries or Central Asian users, or the same for MENA, as there is more need. Participation and services have started proliferating as well. And with this, a compulsory transition happened. We always talk about a cashless society, and as Hakan Bey said, in physical shopping, cash money is being used less and less because of maybe the hygiene reasons under COVID, and the industry is being pushed that way as well. And with the technology solutions, probably very soon cash will be found even less. So, Mr. Hakan, coming back to you, in terms of innovation, the payment solutions or stakeholders, have they been able to introduce any innovation? Was it possible to gain know-how from this and adapt very quickly? Of course, there were some compulsory, there were some efforts ongoing already, but was the industry innovative, or were we pushed towards areas that we didn't have in mind before? I believe the Turkish society is very innovative because we're able to adapt very quickly under crisis conditions. For instance, I like taking things from back from the history. If I remember correctly, I think there was a report about fintechs by the Presidential Financial Office. We're the first country in Europe to use contactless payment, or the third in chip and pay, or in credit security. We are the first in the world to start using this system. Currently in fintechs, I believe we have 55 or 56 payment companies. As you said, in the background, we were prepared when it comes to innovation. COVID was not the only reason. So when COVID came, we were a bit prepared. Not prepared for COVID, but prepared in terms of digitalization. There were efforts going on in the background. In 2013, the law was passed, and we have received afterwards, in total, 56 have become payment institutions. Open banking, digital banking. So we had the infrastructure, and COVID has emphasized this. So we were not unprepared. Yes, in terms of health, we didn't expect, but this is what we were talking to our prospective customers or for end users. The physical card or the physical POS device, we don't need them. We need the banking system, but we don't necessarily need physical banks. So in our world, I think the situation is the same. So as you also said, because of hygiene, contactless payment has been widely accepted, and remote payment, or how can I say, receiving payments remotely or remote selling has gained speed. Digitization is similar, or the pressure for competition has changed, and you have to now compete with different locations. For instance, when you did conventional shopping, two nearby stores had to compete against each other, but now they compete with the rest of the country and the rest of the world. So there have been opportunities. In 2019, I believe there were no unicorns coming out of Turkey, but in 2021 there have been 5 unicorns, and one became the decacorn, which means when you look at the way they do business, they're either very close to digitization, or they're logistics companies, or they're urban rapid delivery. I don't want to mention specific names, but I believe you know what I mean. So in essence, yes, we were teams which wanted to deliver this digitization, and we were prepared. I wish we didn't have the pandemic, and we used to visit one by one, and we were trying to do marketing with limited budgets, but the process gained speed with the pandemic. Turkey is a young population which adapts very quickly and uses the internet very widely. I think contactless payments increased by 10 or 15-fold. It's very clear in the data, and everyone who were unwilling about e-commerce are now doing it. I like seeing or touching the product before I buy, but when I order, it comes home very quickly. So why would I go all the way to the supermarket? And why should I carry my bags all the way up? Or when you buy clothes outside, I want to, when coming back home, I don't want to come back with 7 different bags. I want to use the service of having them shipped to my home address. So we were close to making this change, all the players in the industry, not only payment agents, but fintech organizations which were trying to create a fintech or trying to spread it. All of them were very prepared in terms of taking the steps forward. So yes, we had an important impetus, yes, both in our company and around the ecosystem. New products emerged, but of course we are regulated, so we cannot implement any product or anything we want. We offer different payment intermediation services. For instance, we have PayLink to receive payment, or we have a mobile app which is very widely used. So we play an intermediate role in e-commerce and online sales. But as Mr. Recep said, in Paynet, especially in B2B, we play an agency role for many different payments, and this is very clearly requested now, both physically and digitally. More hybrid solutions are needed, both at mobile and in other solutions. So our new technologies will be positioned in this area. Mr. Recep, you have, when it comes to what you have learned from the pandemic and what could happen in the future when COVID leaves our lives, what should we expect? In your opinion, have we taken the necessary lessons? Have we been able to implement these into our vision, into our roadmaps? What have we learned during the process? Let me begin with the product that we have made. The work that we do was from remote payment to contactless payment. Everything that we did were things that would support the COVID process, and with COVID the speed increased. But on the technology side, developments, new features, additional developments have increased because of the pandemic. To give you an example from Ozan, we have a project called Vasco within Ozan. For instance, through WhatsApp, businesses or end users, we want them to be able to place orders or receive orders, or from Facebook or Telegram. We want them to be able to manage the processes, receive orders, and have an e-commerce experience on these platforms as well. The process has pushed us to develop such applications because, as I said, we as payment companies, at the end of the day, we are all operating under the payment services law, but that service is going to create a difference with the value-added products that we can push to the fore, and this way it can add value to the customers' lives. We analyze the present needs of customers, and we did launch some products based on the current needs. This has also allowed us to launch new products in the industry. To give you another example, we have a digital Kadıköy app which you can find on app stores. This also includes a digital wallet for the residents of Kadıköy and allow them to reach municipality services or pay their taxes or make requests. What we're offering here is a wallet with which you can shop from the stores which are in the Kadıköy district using QR codes and receive cashback. At the end of the day, as Mr. Hakan Kocatürk said, these things existed. They were not new. They were things that we have been doing for many years, maybe, but on our side with the pandemic, the numbers increased and such projects increased in number. And with this, new products or new features have emerged. After COVID, in my opinion, this, I think, has now gained a permanence. I think people and industries have adapted fully these solutions. Yes, COVID is going, even if COVID goes down, numbers go down, I don't think we will go back. This will continue its increase because people have now gotten used to, or businesses have gotten used to this new systems, and the pleasure and the commercial gainings have also been seen by businesses as well. So there is no going back. I believe there will be a quick increase. We agree. We see ourselves as a fintech which creates added value. For that reason, I mean, the way we first emerged was taking payments or selling your products through messenger apps without having to download an additional app. And recently, with the impact of COVID, we have seen an expansion in the market as well. And we received some demand from the global side as well. So one of our main focal areas was to offer this product, the solution, globally. And let me share with you a small announcement actually, maybe some of you know already. We have been acquired by a global payment services company. We can call this mergers and acquisitions. So we shared 2 acquisition news today. Yes, congratulations to both of you. Yes, and soon enough we're going to announce it fully. And with that, our expansion, in addition to our global expansion in GCC and North African countries, we have joined them to our network as well, so that we can meet the need in those areas. We are now completing our integrations. As Mr. Hakan Kocatürk said, we had the innovation going on. We are a community which is developing such solutions, but what mattered was to find the opportunity to take them to the global scale, and we wanted to make use of that opportunity, and so that we can offer the PayMass products. In more than 10 countries in the next 6 months, we will be seeing our solutions in more than 10 countries. For the future, as we have discussed before, I think COVID increased our transitioning to a cashless society. I believe people will not want to go back to their previous habits. They have seen the convenience, the joy, in my opinion, they have experienced already, and more innovative solutions are now expected according to what we observe. Especially the new generation, they come up with more demands, more convenient, faster, without having to use any additional apps. The simpler the better, or the quicker the better, or we will reach a higher user group. Before we close, I will give the floor to Mr. Hakan, the floor to him for final remarks and as to what could happen in the future. And with that, we'll close the session. This has been a very enjoyable chat. we share similar opinions. Nothing will be as they used to be because COVID changed all of our lives. It digitized us. And as we always say, we had already made our preparations and we were already offering our products to the market. And now this has been seen more clearly because of COVID, digitalization or the need for remote payment systems. Now customers have more demand for such solutions. At the end, I believe we will turn into an omni-channel or a hybrid structure because both sides have their joy. Yes, it's very enjoyable to do shopping at home, but it's also enjoyable to try on 20 different pieces of clothing. Socialization has pleasure in it, as well. So I believe we will end up in a merge of two. Compared to pre-COVID, we will be much more digitalized, but compared to COVID, when our lives go back to normal, we will have more offline shopping compared to today. I think we will see a mix of both. We will maybe do shopping online, but we will be able to return offline, or when we have to change a certain, for instance, clothing, rather than waiting for it to come from a different store, we will have it shipped to home, or we will do market shopping and we will know what time it will be at our door. Our lives will change. As Paynet, we focus on B2B. I think Mr. Recep said it. B2B is a bit behind B2C, but we see reflections of it. And as I said before, I won't give the name. We are preparing for a launch of a product as well. So I don't know by the time you're seeing this, it will be launched or not. We have this story of a hybrid product. Physical experience and digital experience will be merged with this new product that we're adding to our list of solutions. And soon we will be launching it for businesses. Thank you. So let's congratulate you as well on behalf of all users. I thank all of you and hope to see you later, and thank you for your contribution.